without trying. I hear your truth, stop lying. I am not hard to find, but I am hard to find. Don't let that slip through your mind. Can't let you play with my time. Don't want your promise, you gotta sign on the line. Walk how I talk without trying. Drip to the floor with this iron. Flow always cold, it got low iron. Who do you know with a pension like mine?
Well, I like your hair color too. That is
Thanks,
unique.
Yeah, I wanted to do something a little bit different, but now I'm seeing tons of girls in the neighborhood with pink hair.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh man.
But you know, when you do something or you buy something, then it brings it into your reality.
Right.
Yeah.
You start to see it in your frequency and all of that. That's exactly what I said. I was like, you're just noticing it now that you have it.
Yeah. I wanna do a Joker thing for a music video, something about going green.
Dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
So you said you started 5 years ago?
Yeah. Going on 5 years. It'll be 5 years in November. So basically, I used to be a teacher, an assistant teacher, not like a full-time teacher. And I worked with kids that had like special needs or like anger problems, that kind of thing. And that was awesome. Honestly, I really liked it. It was just I worked in the middle of Manhattan, and so my staff was entirely upper-class white people.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were racist. So
I feel you on that.
My boss was racist, and we had a lot of altercations where he was verbally abusing the children, and I told him I was going to report him. I missed it.
Okay.
My boss had told a student, basically, you know, kids play fight.
Yeah.
And she smacked the kid in the face and smacked her back until he got sent to the office. And basically my boss turned to the 12-year-old little girl who was minority and told her to slap him in the face the way she slapped the little boy so he could see how hard she hit.
Oh, wow.
And he wasn't playing. He told her about 5 times in a row. So I pulled her out of the office and I left. I was like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And the assistant principals were there, and they didn't see a problem with it.
That's crazy. So what made you want to pick up tattooing?
Well, I always like to draw. And so art runs in my family.
Okay.
Like have you ever seen the movie The Warriors?
Yeah, it's an old movie.
Right, with like a couple different gangs and stuff like that. So my father, obsessed with that movie.
Okay.
And my father is like the main artist in the family. Like he does clothing, hats, paintings, all types of stuff like that.
Oh wow. That's interesting.
And so now in his like older age, he actually does cosplay as like the baseball Furies from the Warriors, the guys with their face painted and the baseball uniforms with the bats. And he does charity work and stuff like that with what he makes off of like the events he goes to and stuff like that. He also just did some clothing for like one of the OG rap artists, like back in the day, like these are the words.
Yeah. Break it up. Yeah.
And it was on the Grammys.
That's what's up.
So he's been hanging out with them a lot. Him and my grandmother, his mom, they just really inspired me to do my art.
What was your drawing style? Like, did you like?
It was, you know, the way that I worked initially, I'm like a photocopier.
Okay.
So I always need like a couple reference photos, something to look at. I could picture an apple in my mind clear as day. But to sit down and draw it from my mind to my head without the image in front of me can be a bit tricky.
Right.
Unless I've practiced it for quite some time, if that makes sense.
I got you.
Yeah. It works for me, and now I use like real photos, realism photos, and things like that. Like when I do floral pieces, I'll take pictures of real flowers and break them down into the stencils.
That's dope.
Yeah. I don't like to just look on Pinterest. You know what I mean? Even though I also don't mind doing a Pinterest tattoo. I'm not that artist that's bougie like that.
I got you.
Yeah. There's a lot of my tattoos are Pinterest tattoos. Do
you remember your first tattoo?
Yes, my first tattoo is on my spine. And it is in Arabic. And it says, "One could not count the moons that shimmer on her roofs or the thousand splendid suns that hide behind her walls."
Oh, wow. That's really deep.
Yeah. I was going through like a really tough time in my life at the time. And I read this book called A Thousand Splendid Suns. And the phrase was in the book.
Oh, wow.
About the girl that was going through so much. And I really resonated with it. So I got it tattooed. The reason I got it tattooed in Arabic is because the author is Arabic. And initially the book was printed in Arabic and then transferred out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you scared to get it in another language? Like,
yeah, I actually was very impulsive. And I reached out to a couple of fan groups from the book that were in different countries and stuff like that. And I asked if anyone could send me a photo of the quote from the book because I tried to order like the copy in a different language.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it, surprisingly.
I got you.
Yeah, so.
You remember the first tattoo you ever tattooed on somebody?
Yes. It was a ghost face behind their ear.
Oh, wow. Like from Scream? Okay.
It was about this big.
Okay.
Yeah, just like a little like flash sale type of thing.
Yeah.
And that was cool. The second piece I did was someone who came in with a little. It was kind of vulgar. It was a custom artwork.
Yeah.
And it was like somebody eating somebody else's butt.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting.
So I did the outline of that on his leg.
Yeah.
I like to do different weird tattoos.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
So I was like watching like an ink shop, and they had customers come in and ask to get their private parts. You ever been propositioned to tattoo somebody's?
So I'll tell you what. The closest I've done is a tattoo about this big.
Yeah.
So like 5-6 inches.
Yeah.
On a woman's butt cheek.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the story is pretty crazy. So she had come in. My mentor does portraits. She did this for me.
Okay, that's really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a little boy from Pet Cemetery. I love scary movies.
I could tell you got a senior other on your arm.
What I usually do, by the way, is I'll go over it, clean it, just to make sure I got the stencil in there.
Okay.
And then touch up any places that need touching up.
Yeah, no problem.
Vaccine you up so that doesn't feel as bad. Have you ever had vaccine?
Is it numbing cream?
It's just a spray that helps with the pain.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's usually fine. I use it for all my tattoos.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you prefer not to have it, we could also not use it.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Anyways, back to the weird tattoo.
Okay.
So, she came in for a portrait of her daughter who had passed away. And her daughter was a baby. It was quite a sad story.
Yeah.
I have these hands. I wish I brought one so I could show you.
Okay.
They're extremely lifelike. They feel like a real hand. They jiggle. You can move their fingers. And they're practice tattoo hands. So there's an artist that I used to really admire. Her name is Johnny Gould. And she does like line work pieces, black work pieces, in like sort of a gothic style. Like lips and like eyes. It's very feminine, dark, that kind of thing. Okay. So one of her pieces is the word horror. And the O is a mouth that's open and dripping spit.
Oh wow, that's dope actually.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. I will look for, if you remind me when we finish, I'll look for a photo to show you.
Okay.
Yeah. But so she saw that and she's like, wow, this is so cool. Who did this? And they're like, oh, that was our apprentice, Jasmine. You know, if you like it, you know, you can always come back and schedule an appointment with her.
Yeah.
She turns around and goes, can we do it now?
Oh, wow.
Can we do it at the same time as my daughter's portrait? And I was just like, oh, can we do it? Where would you like it?
Right.
And she goes, I want it on my ass.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, okay. So I tattooed the woman's butt cheek.
Forget that.
Yeah, nope. She still follows me to this day, and I definitely remember her.
Yeah, for real.
Another time, I had a customer when I worked in a shop,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like brand spanking new. And this guy scheduled an appointment with me to get a Nirvana symbol on his kneecap.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, just know that's going to be painful.
Very.
Be prepared for the pain. And he said, okay, no problem. So he comes in, seemed like a nice guy, whatever, everything was cool. And he had a friend with him, thank God he had a friend with him. Homeboy's in my chair for about 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Starts getting clammy. I look at my gloves. They're full of like sweat.
Mm-hmm.
And as I look up, I see him pale in the face.
Yeah.
He passed out.
Oh, wow.
And for about 3 seconds, it looked like he seized up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Yeah, I was going to say that is scary.
Yeah. But then he came to, and everything was fine. And, we told him, like, this is what happened. Would you like to go to the hospital? Everything like that. Give him some water and a snack. Bring his sugars up and everything like that.
Yeah.
And this fool comes and tells us, yeah, man, this is my fault. My bad, guys. I was up doing drugs all night.
Yeah, bro. Come on.
I haven't eaten, and this is my first tattoo.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow.
Why would you? Okay.
On your kneecap.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite piece that you've had done on you?
So, I think it's a tie between my hand tattoo, where it says CryBaby, because that's what I go by, CryBaby. Yeah. And I have, I think maybe probably my pet cemetery portrait.
I got you. Really a crybaby?
Oh, yeah. There's a reason I tattooed that on my hands, girl. I used to cry for everything. Too happy, too sad, too excited, too mad, whatever. Like, I'm tearing up. My boyfriend makes fun of me for it all the time.
I got you.
But, yeah. I still cry, but not as much.
Do you have a favorite piece that you tattooed on somebody else?
That's a tough one. My favorite tattoos might be on myself that I did.
Okay.
Because I have so much creative freedom with myself.
Yeah.
And I did a nice original art piece that I started in 2017, actually. And it was in the back of my mind, like, man, I gotta pick that up and finish that piece. It's gonna be dope.
Right.
For all those years. But I never picked it up until one night. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was bored. He was on the game, my boyfriend. And I was just like, you know what? Let's see what I come up with on the iPad. I finished it on the iPad, and it was so dope. I was like, you know what? We gotta tattoo it tonight.
Right.
So I tattooed it on my leg, and it's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that piece. And I also did, the other day, a portrait on the practice scan of my grandfather from my grandmother, from when he was young and in the military. And I thought it came out great.
So with the practice skin, like, when you tattoo it, do you wipe it off and it come off, or is it like you have to get new?
You have to use, like baby oil or like a crap ton of A&D. To get it off, and then you have to soak it in rubbing alcohol to get the stencil off, because The thing that's crazy about practice skin that also kind of sucks, at least the poorer quality skins, because you could invest in like a $20 skin and it'll be thick, like, and cushioned like a human being, you know?
Right.
But the problem is, if you have that and you flip the skin upside down, you can't see if you're going too deep.
I got you.
Because it's so nice and thick. So almost everything you do looks great, and then you could turn around and, if you don't know better, hurt someone or damage your tattoo from learning that way.
I got you.
So it's just like a little catch-22, but this is advice I had just gotten from someone that I look up to in the tattooing community. His name is Izzy Garcia, and he works in Brooklyn. He does my tattoos. He did this for me. And he just was saying to master the thin skins, because if you can master a thin skin and manage to do both sides of the skin, which is unheard of, okay?
Right.
Because it's so thin. You always see at least a shadow, which is what you should see is normal.
Okay.
As long as it's not broken or black on the other side, that means you did good.
Okay.
Right. But he was like, master the thin skins and you'll be great at what you do because you'll have depth control down. And so actually that's what I just spent the last 2 to 3 months
working
practicing, working on practice again.
I know you said you have more creative control when you tattoo yourself, but is there any other differences that make it more preferable to tattoo yourself versus tattooing somebody else?
I prefer to tattoo someone else over myself.
Okay.
Because with myself, you know, when you're tattooing someone, they may hit like nerves. And you might twitch. You know?
Yeah.
As the artist, you have to be ready for that. But at the same time, if you're doing it to yourself, you can't control your twitch in your arm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The pain.
The whole point of my podcast is to encourage people to chase their passions, because I feel like a lot of people have been trained to just survive instead of doing what makes their soul happy. Like, so if you could encourage any upcoming tattoo artists or people who want to tattoo but haven't had to, you know, to try, what type of advice or anything would you give?
You have to have a thick skin, number one. I didn't have a thick skin when I came into this industry. So I used to go in the bathroom and cry.
Okay.
In between appointments, or, you know, after I get basic criticism from my mentor. And it wasn't even like, wow, this sucks ass. Like, it was just like, you know, okay, here you would have maybe damaged something.
Right.
Or here you may have gone too light.
Right.
And I would have thought it was so good. And then my little hopes were dashed or whatever. But I've grown so much since then. And, you know, I really am happy with my progress and everything, and in that mentality.
Right.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I can take criticism now. I enjoy criticism. I join tattoo groups and post my work to get criticism from other artists who are more skilled than myself that I can learn from. So that's one thing. You want to have a thick skin. The other thing is, but you also need to let things roll off your back, because there's always going to be somebody who, you know, has something to say about your learning. They're going to doubt you. No one's going to want to come get work done at first, you know. But keep at it, because it's worth it. And if you're dedicated with practice, you can do it. It's easier than you think it is to tattoo. I can say that too. Like, number 3, it's not as hard as you think.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if it's something that you love.
So what's your least favorite part?
To tattoo? Like, from the process, or like body part?
From the process.
Setting up.
Okay.
Only because it's time consuming.
I got you.
But other than that, I don't have a least favorite part. I love all parts of tattooing.
That's what's up.